Welcome back and thanks for staying with us. We're continuing front page review with The Nation. Major headline: Federal government opens IDP camp as flood submerges 70% of Maiduguri.
You meant Punch.
Borno Dam. Oh, what did I say?
Nation.
Oh, Punch. The Punch. Inmates escape, thousands displaced. Tinubu National Assembly government pledges aid as NEMA begins evacuation. The Lagos Red Line train to transport 150,000 passengers daily. 10,000 new recruits for deployment February 2025. That's from the police. 70,000 naira wage. Nysc awaits federal government directive on new corpers pay. A lot of corps members were expecting this money. Why NNPC may not lift Dangote fuel on Sunday. Fuel importers fear domestic production. That's from the Refiners Association. Southwest governors to spend 266 billion on airport projects. And you cannot miss the picture of the sad story of what is happening in Borno State, Maiduguri specifically. So I know, Mariam, you have that story.
Yes, I do. They're saying that thousands of Maiduguri inhabitants have been displaced, with the Nigerian Correctional Service recapturing 3 inmates after a jailbreak. They said 80% of animals at the zoo died as the state suffered its most devastating flood disaster in 30 years. In fact, someone put it up. They said that it was almost 30 years to the date. They said the last time it happened was in '94, and it was the 7th of September when that happened. So the same month, in a few days difference, this happened. So anyway, what we're hearing is that there was an overflow of the main source of the dam, and that's what has caused this flooding. And as we know, Borno State is a flat, is a flat surface, flat ground, and so that made it easier for water to really devastate, a large number of the area. They say about 70% of the town is already underwater. Some of the places that they mentioned were, they said Lagos Street is underwater, the market area, the palace of the Shehu of Borno, at least the front of the palace. This was given by the NEMA spokesperson. Many people have been displaced. Our president, who is out of the country, asked for the immediate evacuation of residents who have been caught up in this flood. We also saw that our vice president was in the thick of things as well. He immediately went there, to oversee what the rescue operations are. It's really sad.
As in a lot of the houses, it's just roof alone. Some are not even seeing the roof.
Cars.
I don't like the report from the angle of President said anything, because the NEMA, sorry, not NEMA, what's that group that warns us of flood? Meteorological something. So they kept warning us, and I kept wondering what was. Remember, I took the story that I'm looking for measures, and they're waiting for state governors. Eventually, this happens. We should be having the number of people who has been affected, as Miriam took, and just tell us how people are recovering, because this is a human interest story, not a PR story. But I have the NYSC story. What the coppers, sorry. Sorry, because the Gapata of NYSC, the acting director of Information and Public Relations Unit of the NYSC, Caroline Embu, says that we have been hearing all the misleading information circulating media regarding payment of 70,000 minimum wage to corps members and a directive to upgrade their accounts. This is absolute falsehood. Be warned that no directive has been received from the relevant sector of government responsible for wage matters. It is therefore impossible for NYSC to issue any information on such statements. End of story. So they are on their old minimum wage, and it's a very sad place to be.
I have the Lagos Red Line train to transport 150,000 passengers daily. They said the Lagos state government has said the Red Line train will transport between 100,000 and 150 persons daily when fully operational. They said the rail stretch runs over a distance of 27 kilometers. And they said the permanent secretary of the Lagos State Ministry of Transportation, Olawale Musa, said while the Blue Rail was operational with a capacity of 1,000 passengers with 72 trips daily, the Red Line will accommodate 800 people. but we are just test running. We cannot give the number of trips it can go for now, especially because we don't have total control over the rail tracks. He also said that, that they are sharing the tracks with the Nigerian Railway Corporation, and because they are also using the same track, our speed and everything else have to be regulated by them, and that will affect the number of trips we can go on a daily basis. But he said that is a lot of people removed from the traffic every day. And he also said that there are 8 stations from Agbado in Ogun State to Lagos State, and they are Iju, Agege, Ikeja, Oshodi, Mushin, and Yaba, before terminating at Oyingbo. So let's see how that will, that will really ease a lot of traffic and remove a lot of people from the road.
I was very curious about the new recruits that will be joining the Nigerian police force, but we really don't have time to take that story because there was a bit of controversy regarding who has the right to recruit them. There was a recruitment that was done, and then that was said, they said it was corruption in how the recruitment was done. We definitely need more people in the Nigerian police force. We need them. We need them equipped. We need them trained. We need them, and we need it to be done ethically, following the process. We'll move on to Daily Sun now. Major headline is a story we've taken, very sad. Flood ravages 29 states, kills 229, and displaces 386,000 people. 94,000 houses fully submerged. That's according to Daily Sun, mentioning a few of the states that have been devastated by this flooding. Another story highlights what happened in Anambra. Flood. Anambra farmers in fear embark on premature harvesting of crops. We'll get Bayo Onanuga, that's alive, says the Chief of Defense Staff. And in other news, attacks on media CSOs under Tinubu worse than military era. That's from Atiku. Federal government denies human rights abuses. Allegation says Ajaero not above the law. And NLC confirms Ajaero's release, promises to subject him to medical examination. ASU protests members' victimization, and NCDC confirms 55 Mpox, that's monkeypox cases. So what story are we going to be taking?
NCDC, the Nigeria Center for Disease Control and Prevention, said that it has confirmed 55 cases of monkeypox, Mpox, in Nigeria. They said that the 55 cases were confirmed from the 935 suspected cases across 39 local government areas in 21 states and the FCT. No deaths have been recorded from the disease so far this year. 70% of the reported cases were males, while 30% were females. They also talked about the age distribution. They said 19 cases were recorded in ages 0 to 10, 8 cases in 11 to 20, and 12 cases in ages 21 to 30. And they also give a breakdown according to the cases in the various states as well. So NCDC has explained that since 2017, they've had 472 suspected cases that were reported in the 36 states and the FCT. In that time, they have confirmed over 1,000 cases from 35 states and the FCT. Mostly males, that's 70% of them are men. So men are predominantly affected. As usual, the World Health Organization has set up like a public emergency, to help in the treatment of this and bringing awareness. So for the rest of us as well, we need to be careful. This is very much around in Nigeria. So we need to be careful, who we're in contact with, and also remember to clean up, always.
Okay.
Let's just move on.
Yeah, so I have the Anambra farmers embark on premature harvests. They said the Executive Secretary and Anambra State Emergency Management Agency, SEMA, Mr. Paul Odenigbo, said many community farmlands had already been submerged following increased water level. The water level has been on the increase and is expected to rise more following activities from some neighboring countries. This translates to more flood waters in Nigeria through the river channels. He said some farmers have started harvesting their crops prematurely, and we are calling on those living in the riverine areas to relocate to higher grounds whenever they notice an emergency increase in the water level. He said the state government has concluded arrangements through the Flood Response Committee headed by the Deputy Governor to ensure that those that will be displaced are taken care of during their stay in camps. The agency has also commenced cleaning and fumigation of the holding camps across the state to make them habitable for the people that will be displaced by flood, which may likely increase in the coming weeks. So you see some of the states are already putting things in place to make sure that this kind of tragedy doesn't happen
again.
Yeah.
So I just want to inform our audience about the fact that there will be a break from our streaming, the regular programming on TVC News. We will be connecting with the This Day Dome in Abuja. It will be a live broadcast of the expanded management retreat on the vision, role and expectations from National Orientation Agency for optimum impact. Your View show will still continue on our UK channel, B-Sky, and we would also be on YouTube at TVC Entertainment. We'll be on GoTV, StarTime, and Play TV channels as well. But we will be going off from the TVC News in a short while. We'll continue with the front page review. Moving on to Vanguard. Major headline is the story of Ajaero. I think it's about time we talk about it. It's been in the papers, there's also the fact that there's a deepening in deepening its capital markets. Nigeria raises over $900 million, a 5-year inaugural domestic federal government US dollar bond. So let's take the Ajaero story.
So the federal government yesterday said it has rejected an accusation of rights abuse that has been made against it by the United Kingdom Trade Union Congress over the arrest of Joe Ajaero. So on his way to the TUC Congress in the UK, conference in the UK, he was arrested at the airport, and the federal government is being accused of the abuse of human rights. And the federal government is saying, first of all, the president of the NLC had been invited, for questioning, and he didn't show up. And of course, it is the prerogative of the state to arrest him. So there was no abuse of rights. And he also called out those in the UK and the US. He says that, is there anybody, that would flagrantly ignore the invitations or summons of the MI5 of Scotland Yard or treat the FBI with the level of disdain that Mr. Ajaero has subjected the law enforcement agencies in Nigeria? There were reference to Donald Trump that, has to face different kinds of investigation, and he's still there. Yes.
And he shows up.
Yes, but so they're saying that there's nobody that's above the law, and if you have been asked to present yourself before the police, you should please make yourself available, as he knows that he's under investigation. The DSS had invited him for a talk, and they handed over to him his passport, he said. So it wasn't as if he had been abused even during that investigation for him to have refused to go back when he was summoned again.
All right, that's what we can take on front page review for today. We'll take a break. When we come back, we'll continue with the show. Please stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.